Morning YouTube, it's Mads here from Mads76. I'm going to try something a little bit different today. I'm going to bring you along on one of my local walks. I'm going to call this my local lockdown walk. It's about 7k. It incorporates basically the coastal path, walks up a big hill onto a Walton Common. I'm going to do a loop there, come back, go up another very steep hill, up onto a golf course, past Clevedon Castle, and then from there on back onto the main road, looping round back to my van at Ladye Bay. So I'm obviously sticking within the local lockdown rules. This is probably about 1.5 miles away from my house. I'm just going to drive to the coastal path, so I'm not breaking any rules, which is why I'm calling this my local lockdown walk. So this walk is going to be about 7k. I know it's going to be really wet and muddy and certainly boggy in a few places. The coastal path always gets super wet and slimy and muddy, so I've got to take care there. Also, just walking up one of the fields, it was really boggy and wet at the very top from memory, so I'm expecting a lot of sort of farmyard sludge to get to a gate, which will be interesting. But I'll film all of that. I'm now at Ladye Bay, so I'll show you some little clips of Ladye Bay today and maybe some older clips from my collection, but this is where we start. So before I begin all my journeys, I always use Viewranger to track where I'm going. In this case, I've already pre-plotted the route I'm taking, so that's why I know it's 7k. I don't know how long it's going to take me today because, in all honesty, I'm going to be stopping, filming and doing bits and pieces, so it's not going to give a true picture to how long this actual journey takes. As well as Viewranger, I also use my GPS smartwatch just to track my trail, and this usually gives me the most accurate reading, which I then upload to Map My Hike, and I also share on my Instagram feed. So this is the route that we take. We go down these stairs, straight ahead are the stairs leading down to Ladye Bay, and then off to the right is the coastal path, and that's the route we'll be taking today. Now most of this path is muddy, wet and slimy in the winter months, so you've got to take extra care. Now here's my little secret spot I really enjoy coming down to. Just off to the left here is a short little path that takes you to quite a nice outlook, which looks over Ladye Bay and the pier. So this is what I'm going to call the Ladye Bay lookout. You can see Clevedon Pier in the distance, and on a good clear day you can see all the way over to South Wales. So away from that secret little spot of the Ladye Bay lookout, we're back on the main coastal path, and this will take us down more towards the beach. And on our left hand side we've got what we call, or what I certainly call, the flat rocks of Clevedon. So whilst we're in a national lockdown, I do think it's really important that everybody plays their part. I'm not about to preach to anybody, but I'm trying to keep within the guidelines, and that's why I'm only doing this local walk today. I really do want to get up to Crook Peak. That means me travelling some distance, albeit it's still in my county. I just feel that if I do that, I am actually breaching those guidelines, which is stay local within a 5-mile radius of your home address, and don't do any unnecessary travel, certainly into any other county. So that stops me from going to Bristol. It probably stops me going all the way over to Crook Peak and all the other little spots that I like to go walking in. So I'm doing my part, and I hope you guys are doing your part as well. So in addition to that last bit, I also recommend that obviously if you do want to come and do this walk and you don't live locally, then I would say hold off until we're out of the lockdown, and then by all means come and enjoy it for yourself without breaching those guidelines. That was a deep puddle. So only a short bit in onto the walk on the coastal path, and already we've hit the flat rocks, as I call them. They're a wonderful place to come and visit, like I say, for a barbecue or just sit there in the sun during the summer. You often see me come down and film some of my bits and pieces down there, because it's quite secluded and you don't get that footfall like you do with the rest of the beach. Now lockdown has a lot of negative at the moment, but I'd like to turn that around and make this more of a positive. Now the YouTube community is growing thick and fast. There's a lot of YouTubers, sorry, I'll start again. Now the YouTube community is growing thick and fast, and everybody on there is being super creative with their local videos. Now I highly recommend you go and check all their channels out, whether it's your popular people like your Paul Messners and your Summit or Nothings, to the smaller fries like my 24-hour adventure and many others, ones I've mentioned in previous YouTube videos. A big shout out to Dean, Life on the Rocks, Walks with Ollie, T and Valhalla. All of these people are put out amazing content, and I highly recommend you go and check out their channels. You subscribe, you comment, and you like you do with my videos. I'm sure everybody would appreciate it. Whilst I'm ice skating on this mud. Whoa. Now you can see the scrub on the left hand side towards the coast is now sort of depleting. It comes back in places, but you start to get to see some of the coastline from Clevedon to Portishead, and some of the little coves and little beaches that some are secluded and you can't get to, but others, on a good day when it's not so wet and muddy and so dangerous, you can climb down and enjoy their views and that sort of peace and quiet down there. Now that was quite funny, because I was just about to do a piece to camera just to say that this path is really quiet today. It's probably about 10:30 and I've only seen one person who was a runner, because it's quite a popular trail run, this from coast to coast. Yeah, and then we bump into those two fellas, so I left the camera running just because I wanted to get a bit of an action shot of their knees. Now it's not much further to our first destination, which is a bit of a crossroad where we start to head up to the right and to the top of this hill. I'll stop at that junction, check Viewranger, check my watch, and just to see how far we've travelled, just to give you some idea and a bit of a bearing. Twice the walk, because I put the camera down, walk away, then walk back up. So one thing I noticed with this GoPro, which is the Hero 7 Black, I keep getting fogging on the lens every time I use it when it's cold. Now I appreciate, usually I'd keep the camera in my pocket, which is probably warmer, and then bring it out into the cold air, so there's potential of it fogging up, but there clearly is some damp within the lens. But already today I can see I've got fogging again, so it still means there's some damp somewhere within that lens or within the body from when I took it out in the torrential rain. That's not good. So trying to keep this video a little bit interesting and entertaining. Here's a metal post. So there are times when you have to walk very close to the edge of some quite steep drops. So there's one thing just to bear in mind with this walk. Certainly if you're bringing a dog or any small children, there are places where you just need to rein them in a little bit. Now occasionally you'll come across some little stop-off points, benches, little carved out seats and some stone, all the way on this coastal path between Clevedon and Portishead. So there's always little places to stop, have a sit down, maybe make a brew, and then head on your way. So this field on the right hand side of me is the field we're going to be heading up shortly. Just for a point of reference, it's not that far past Roger's seat, so if you get to that seat, it's just a few more minutes along the way, and then it appears on your right hand side. So as we get closer to the crossroads, you notice the path thins off, and then we have this fork in the road, or you can go down to continue the coastal path, or you can take the right, which we're doing, through this gate and up the hill towards Walton Common. So from the gate behind us, spinning around, we're heading straight up this path now, which will bring us to a cottage and a farm gate, and that should bring us out on one of the link roads to the coast. We cross that and then we're up onto Walton Common. Now, I said I'll check my GPS watch and Viewranger. So far it says we've walked approximately 2.6k. It certainly doesn't feel like 2.6k, and I know I've done a few stop-offs and walking backwards and forwards. So realistically, that's about the distance I've travelled today, just to that gate. So at the top of the hill next to this house, you see a group of horses that are gathered. We're just going to walk around these, try not to scare them. So there's a short little cut through here, which will bring us out to the road. You can just hear a truck going by. We walk down the road to the right. Following that around, you'll see a lay-by on the right-hand side. That's where I usually park the van when I'm going up to Walton Common. And then we cross the road and we head up the hill towards the common. So this is the Clevedon to Portishead Coast Road. There's a short little B road that takes you to the top of Portishead. Just at the top here is Walton Common, and there's an old quarry or something there, which we'll be at the top of just shortly. Okay, so hold up. Yesterday there was a bit of a GoPro malfunction, which basically meant that none of my audio was recorded for the Walton Common part. So I've come out again this morning just after the showers, just to redo that loop and try and capture some sound. I'm still going to use a lot of the footage I recorded yesterday, so let's see how it goes. Okay, so as we cross the road, we come up to this muddy footpath that leads all the way up to the foot of Walton Common. First thing you come to is this gate, and unlike Walks of Ollie, I've got no local knowledge of the land. So this is Walton Common Nature Reserve. It does state further on that there's a Bronze Age and an Iron Age site, which I'll show you around. But essentially, here's all the information on Walton Common. We're now going to continue up this path until it gets to a little bit of a fork on the pathway where there's a lower path and a higher path. We'll take the path to the left, which is a higher path. It brings us to the foot of Walton Common. So now we're at the top of Walton Common. Straight ahead we've got the M5. Following across to the right we've got Clevedon Wood, which goes down into Gordano Valley and past Clevedon School. And then to the right hand side of us we've got Clevedon Golf Course, and then we've got the wood that joins Clevedon Golf Course at the very top. That's the part we'll be heading towards just after this short walk of Walton Common. So following up from that really muddy steep incline, still a little bit further to go, but if you keep to the left hand side there's a very muddy and wet pathway which takes you around to a rock face or like an old quarry or something, which I'll show you the footage just shortly. But like I say, stick to the left and you come out to this path. As you can see, there's a sign here that says there's a cliff edge. So the cottage in the distance is the hill we came up from Ladye Bay's coastal path. We came out just down by the opening. We can see there's like a gate entrance and a road entrance, and then we followed the road round to the left. So we're now on the top of Walton Common. We've got that cliff edge behind us, and we're just heading along the left hand side path towards the woodland. So same as yesterday, the setup here is a log where I sat down, had a drink, ate my little Trek bar just for a bit of refreshment, shared some thoughts, and then obviously got on my way. I did go into detail about how important I thought it was to wear appropriate footwear, and in this short video I was just talking about the benefits of actually wearing some good walking boots with some good grips, also some gaiters to keep that wet and mud out of the top of your boots, and highly recommending Wellington boots if you are coming up here and you don't have the proper footwear. Now you've got to be really quiet here because this is where Bear Grylls and Ray Mears live. So now as we get to the top of this left hand side of the common, we now have a choice to make. We can now head off to the left through the woodland, or we can head off to the right to the main sort of open space. Now today I'm going for the main open space, and that's just to keep it simple for me really, more than anything else. And on here we find another signpost full of local information about the land, and we got details about the Iron Age and the Bronze Age pits and the roundhouses that were built up here. Now this little cutaway takes us through to the main common ground. So my guess is this is one of those settlements that's described in that notice board back there. You can see it's like a carved out circular shape. It's buried a little bit with a lot of stone in. I'm sure that's probably one of the Iron Age or Bronze Age places they were describing. Anyways, we continue our journey to the top of Walton Common, which is going to be the furthest point we're going to get to today before the woodland, and then we're going to veer off round to the right hand side and follow the lower path back down to the main road essentially. So now we're just getting up to a funny branching off path to the right. This is actually the path you want to take. It takes you back onto the common. Yesterday I headed straight back down there, which brings you to a water butt, and then there's some fenced off private land, which I'm guessing is where the pheasant farm is. So we're going to head up here, follow this path back onto the common. This is basically where yesterday's filming picks back up. So just for continuity's sake, I would like to apologise that yesterday I had that mic fail with the GoPro. Really annoyed me and frustrated the hell out of me last night once I started editing the video and I got as far as Walton Common. So I'm glad I could come out today this morning. I was really dreading because it was a Saturday morning and I was half expecting it to be really busy around here, but as the luck of the draw is, 9:30 or 9:45, whatever time I arrived, it has not been as busy. So this pathway now leads down through some of the woodland just off the bottom of the common, and this will just take us down to one of the lower paths now. Like I said before, you get to this part and you need to veer off to the right. So as you drop down along this pathway more towards Gordano Valley, you start to hear more of the sounds of the motorway and that Clevedon to Portishead road, knowing that you're getting closer to Walton and civilization. So now we're approaching that fork in the road where we took the left pathway up, and we're just heading back down now towards the main Clevedon to Portishead coast path, which is very wet and muddy. So as you exit off of Walton Common, you come back down to the main road. We're going to take a left here, follow it around just past this cottage, and then there's a short entrance to the right hand side down this muddy lane. That's going to bring us to some steps to the left hand side, which is the start of the rise towards the golf course. So what we're going to do is follow this dirt track path around the edge of the woodland essentially. It's going to go through it at parts and then bring us finally to the top where the golf course is. So you continue up this short incline, which brings you pretty much on the top of Clevedon Golf Course. To the right you'll see the golf course behind the trees, and to the left you got the woodlands separating us from the Clevedon to Portishead road. So that pretty much concludes my follow-up today. I think I filled in all those blanks that was missing from yesterday's recording. Behind me is Walton Castle. I'll do a quick show around of that from the video footage I captured, and then I'll pick back up to the exit back down towards Ladye Bay. So just a distance update. It says we've walked 6.9 kilometers now. Now that is the clubhouse of Clevedon Golf Club. Usually in the summer it's thriving with people sat out on the lawn with their beers. And now we just follow this sweeping driveway all the way down to the main road, where we're going to take a right-hand turn and follow that road back towards Ladye Bay. Now, for reference, we've got the avenue ahead, and this is actually Castle Road, which we're now joining, which takes us back to Ladye Bay. So that's pretty much it for today. My walk does clock in around about 7 kilometers, like I guessed. We're just coming up now to Ladye Bay, which is where I've parked my van. I'm glad you could all join me today. I'm sure I'll do a little bit of a recap once I'm back in the van. But here's to the next walk. So pretty much back to where we started. We're back on Bay Road, part of Ladye Bay. And the van is parked just to the top of this road. Now, I know I'm not going to have much chance to talk at the end of this video, but what I would like to say is thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sorry it's a bit of a bodged job of a video, but rather than lose all that footage I did yesterday and me speaking from the heart essentially, I thought it was worth just coming out and adding the additional footage on just to keep that continuity going, really, rather than lose everything and come out and have to do it all again. That's saying that though, maybe I will come out and do it again. It's one of the walks I do regularly in pieces, so we'll see. So that concludes my filming today. I hope you enjoyed the walk. I know it's a little bit different to the norm that I usually put out, but I hope it's worthwhile and somebody out there enjoys my walk and actually does it. So if you have travelled this walk on the back of my video, why not give me a comment below and just let me know. I plan on putting more videos like this together whilst we're in lockdown. It gives me something to put out there for you guys, and it's also quite interesting to capture just the essence of lockdown whilst we're in it. So like with everything on YouTube, if you like what you've seen today, then why not subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, or give me a comment below. It all goes to help towards my channel and build my audience. So until next time, I've been Mads from Mad76. Stay rad.